So the helmet on the far left is sort of a Norman helmet, 700s. Going from that to the sugar loaf, which is very shiny right now. It's the same shape as something that would have been used for that. So that's your kind of Crusader era, 1100s, 1200s.
That looks like the safest one. I want to wear that for construction.
Not quite. That actually, the predecessor to this would have been the Great Helm. It had a flat top. It was kind of like a bucket. That was when they evolved from the Great Helm to the Sugarloaf helmet, is that style helmet. You're seeing the evolution of armor when they're figuring out the flat surfaces don't do as good as the rounded surfaces. Obviously, they're working on they've learned to deflect attacks rather than trying to just make a wall and stop them flat. From the Sugarloaf, normally we'd have our bassinet sitting here. This is a pig face bassinet. This you'd see around 1300s onwards. The pig face bassinet is specifically because of the cone-shaped visor. The alternative would be a dog face bassinet, which is rounded. This pig face was useful for jousting, and you can imagine why if you were the one wearing it, jousting against someone, if their lance, your opponent is always going to be coming from this direction. If they were to hit you in the face, one, you have this nice cone to help deflect any blows. And two, the breathing holes are on this side, so if the lance were coming over here, there's no holes for any shards to pierce through. The dog face, like I said, was rounded. It had breathing holes on both sides. That was more useful for ground combat. Over here we have one of the more popular helmets around the 1400s, late 1300s. This is a Sallet. It's got an iconic lobster tail sweep in the back here. And this would usually be paired with this second piece called the bellow. So this will cover your collarbone and your neck.
Was that to keep your neck from being broken, or was that to keep somebody from cutting your head off?
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
So with this piece, it would have, this would normally articulate. You could hit the button, it would drop down. You could breathe. You could shout commands to your troops on the battlefield. And this, if you kept your head down, would overlap with that so that you wouldn't have any gappage.
Okay. So that was also typically an officer's helmet, from what it sounds like.
Yep. From that, we've got two different types of helmet. Towards the end of the evolution of armor, late 1400s, early 1500s, before the knight ends up disappearing. We have the armé, or the armet, depending on how you like to pronounce things. This one is iconic with, let's see, so this one, the visor pops up, and it hinges, and this is when in the period of evolution, armor evolution, they've learned how to make hinges well enough to get it to lock onto the knight's head. So the armet hinges on the sides, locks down onto their head, so they don't have to have that separate piece. And then this, very similar to the armet, or the Sallet, in design, but they've incorporated the bellow into it, so it all hinges. Pops down onto the knight's head and then locks down. And similarly, they can raise their visor to see. They could normally, this is locked, but you could drop this down, breathe a lot better, shout commands, and such. And this and the armé are the peak of helmet technology for the knight. Two other little bits I didn't mention. Sitting here are our kettle helms. Those are some examples of armor or helmets that you would hand out to the rest of your troops on the battlefield, to your men-at-arms, your foot soldiers. They're cheap, quick and easy to make, so you can mass produce them and outfit everyone so that their noggins are protected.
All right, thank you, Kyle.
Yep.